Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban, and it's a new chapter.
It is.
It's a new chapter.
It's a new day.
In this time.
Yeah.
Of the moon.
Yes. We're a couple of magical people ready to moon prison power make up this episode. Sailor Noob is a part of the Just Enough Trope Network.
I don't know. This is like 25, and I think we talked about doing, what is going on? What does Cal think is going on?
Yes.
But so much happens in this episode, I think we have to get right to it, and there'd be no point in my guessing, because this episode introduces elements that will clearly set up. We should have done it last episode or the episode before, is what I'm saying.
Well, do you think we should do it in the next episode then?
Well, we could, but we're already kind of rolling on what this new plot is going to be, which I'll talk about, I think, right now.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Oh, weird. I just want to mention that we are actually on a different translation now.
Yes.
We were going off of the ADV DVD release,
I think so.
dub, I think, from, it's been a while ago, it's almost 20 years now, but and we found a new translation that is it's pretty much the same, I think, but it adds a little more depth, I think, to the translation. I'm hoping, because I've noticed that, like, they'll say, oh, Ami-chan, it doesn't sound like much.
No.
But some of the humor is based on aspects of Japanese stuff that we haven't even really reached yet,
Sure.
honorifics and puns and onomatopoeia that's in Japanese, and I think this is coming out more in this dub. So maybe we'll
go ahead,
have some things that we can say about that. You go.
I just wanted, before we got into it, to go over what the episode titles are for today. Today we are talking about episode number 25. Koisuru Kariki Shoujo Jupiter-chan in Japanese, or Jupiter the Powerful Girl in Love, the English translation, and the English title, Jupiter Comes Thundering In.
Jupiter Comes Thundering In.
Yes.
Jupiter, the god of lightning. So nice job.
I know.
Or thunder, I guess.
Yeah, they're related.
Some of my pantheons split it up.
Sure.
One guy's got the thunder, the other's got the lightning.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Got the lightning and the thunder.
Well, one hand
both fists
and the other. Yeah,
coming in.
Exactly.
Our new translation lets us know, and I think that also just the opening has changed now. It seems like every time another Dark Kingdom great lord goes down, we get a little more confidence out of Usagi in introducing herself, because she began telling us that she was 14 years old and a crybaby, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. And now she's telling us that she's the pretty soldier of love and justice, and she's a fighter for justice. Yes. And so she seems more confident, and she has more people to introduce.
Yes.
With every episode, it seems. As the episode opens down in the Dark Kingdom, it's showtime. I mean, we got to pay this off now. I've been collecting all this energy.
Yeah.
Beryl is going to attempt to awake the Dark Ruler with the human energy that they've taken thus far, and she calls it the Supreme Bliss. I don't know if that's just our translation, but it's some good stuff.
Right, yes.
It sounds like a Moose brand or something like that, or if Cadbury came up with some new whipped sort of chocolate confectionery.
Yeah, there you go.
The Supreme Bliss. A lot of commercials in the 80s and 90s of brunette women just putting something into their mouth in slow motion, then just being like,
yeah.
I don't get it. I'm a child. But anyway, now I get it. She can walk. I was just amazed that Beryl can walk. She's actually on her feet. So that was interesting. She's got this energy. She shoots it at this. This is weird. It's just like this squicky looking heart thing. I mean, all the Dark Kingdom stuff is weird and gigerish.
Yeah, it is.
You got to design the Dark Kingdom. And this heart is on the forehead of a monstrous skull, which is attached to kind of like where the skull's mouth would be. It's like the top half of a skull. Mm-hmm. There's this huge orange blob thing. Yeah. It just looks weird and gross. Yep. Or maybe it looks like, they're all crystal. That's their thing, right? Maybe it looks like an uncut gem.
Oh, I see what you did there.
You want to win by 1 human energy or by 30 human energy?
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, it's all just gross, and so this thing's fleshy, or at least it's like sort of glows, and there's a weird sound effect, and it speaks. It gets this energy, and presumably the Great Ruler is inside there, and it says that the human energy has awoken him or her, but he or she can't wake up all the way without the silver crystal, which we've been hearing about. Yep. And the Supreme Ruler says that when the 7 great Yuma are awakened from their slumber, they'll get the rainbow crystals. Rainbow crystals, too many crystals, and the silver crystal will shine. Yes. Easy, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, in the streets of Tokyo, Usagi's late for school, nothing new. Good to know that the world is still turning in Tokyo. While she's running, she collides with a street punk. Yep. Like these just, backwards hat, baggy pants. Yep. These kids up to no good, probably skateboard. And he's like, oh, I'm hurt. What are you going to do about it? Thought they're going to shake her down. Yeah. And somebody says, leave her alone. You were setting up a fake collision to shake down a little girl. You cowards. And we cut to, I'm trying to remember right, but I think we go toes to top.
I think so.
As you have to do.
Yeah.
Does men that way. Like, wow. Nice calves.
Oh my gosh.
Strong kneecaps.
Wow.
Good bulge.
Oh my gosh.
Never happens.
No.
We see a tall brunette girl with an angry expression on her face. And a fight begins, and she rinses these guys like no problem. There's some judo moves. One of them calls her the B word.
Yeah, which I'm like, what?
Cartoon Network. It's not too hot for Cartoon Network.
Yes.
She's probably a jerk. But anyway, we're PG-14 now in this translation, it looks like. And she chases them off. She checks up on Usagi, and she's like, all right, you're fine. Great. Peace. And as she leaves, Usagi sees her rose earrings and thinks that they're really cool.
Yes.
And Luna's like, another weird female character's here. I wonder if she's a youma.
Yeah,
Come on, Luna.
I know.
Back in the Dark Kingdom, we're going back there. Beryl is having a briefing. She's passing on the rainbow crystal information to Zoisite and Kunsight. And Kunsight says, oh yeah, let me give you the background on the 7 great youma. They were imprisoned by our hated enemy, end quote, whoever that is. And we see this is like, I could have been like, oh, they're going to eat a lot of snacks, but then we're going to learn all these new things. Yeah. There's no way I would have looked like an idiot. That's why we cut it. But anyway, we see a flashback to this happening, that we see 7 of those kind of crazy, they look like black lightning bolts kind of. They're drawn jaggedly, spirits, and they get sealed away in these crystals. And this, I don't know if it's just like a backdrop that you can get at like a photo studio, but like this is happening in orbit. This looks like this is happening in space. That's a new element. And when they become crystals, they all shoot off, and it looks like they're shooting off in the direction of the moon. I don't know what that means, but it's in space, and we'll probably see this again. Kunsight, who I have to point out has epaulets and a sweet cape. Yes. So, I mean, clearly he is higher ranked than Zoisite, Nephrite, Jadeite.
Yes.
He says the 7 Yuma were reincarnated as humans with no knowledge of their real nature. So, I don't know how this works. They get turned into crystals. The crystals fly off, but then the crystals also are reincarnated into people.
Yes.
Who could have predicted this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm not a coward. I just couldn't have gotten any of this. And the humans don't know their real nature. So Zoisite's like, we got to get these crystals out of the humans, and we'll get the silver crystal. Too many crystals. Beryl likes this plan. She gives the black crystal to Zoisite, and she says, I've reprogrammed your tricorder to detect rainbow crystals now. Right. So that's what we're after. And Zoe activates it. And he throws it out in front of him. I can say, Zoe! That's like how he activates things.
I know.
If you came into a room and went, Mika, and turned the lights on, we would know. Oh, okay. That's her thing.
Maybe she's part of the Dark Kingdom. I don't know.
The black crystal we're wearing charges up, and it shows us like a spirit TV image of a dude in a baseball cap. So this is one of our guys, I guess. Yep. Back in Tokyo. It's lunchtime in the park. We know because Usagi is singing a song that goes, lunchtime, lunchtime, my tummy is singing.
I know.
You keep going on, girl. Slay. But she sees the tough girl from before. She's sitting under a tree. The girl with the rose earrings. Yes. Before Usagi can do anything, Umino springs out. He says that she was just transferred to class 6, which that's in their junior high, right?
Yes.
But he just means like a different homeroom or something.
It's a different, yeah, exactly.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
And he says that her name is Kino Makoto, and she is very strong.
Yes.
And she got kicked out of her last school for fighting. She's a bad dude. But Usagi immediately runs over to her, and she sees that she has a rather extensive and complicated lunch setup. This cute little heart-shaped box with like bento and like folded, rice things and sushi and everything. And Makoto sees her and she's like, "Oh yeah, you're the girl from this morning. Have a seat. Do you want to onigiri?" And Usagi's like, "Well, I don't eat very much or very often, but." And Makoto says that nobody's talking to her because they're all scared of her. And Usagi's like, and she says, "Hey, can I call you Mako-chan?"
Yes.
Mako-chan, your mother is a great cook. And Mako says, "Oh, I make these myself." And Usagi's like, boing. She says, "You got to teach me, or maybe you can just make my lunch from now on."
Yeah.
And this, I hope we don't have another episode where Usagi thinks she's fat, but this is how we'll get there.
Oh my goodness.
This whole time, Yumino is just watching her like, there she is. She's making friends.
I know.
That's what she does.
I know. But I mean, I think maybe he's like a little envious because like she makes friends so easily, but she also does her own
Get
thing.
out of the house, man.
And like she doesn't listen to him.
You gotta just get out of the house.
Yeah.
You thought about LASIK?
Oh my goodness.
Later at Game Center Crown, this girl date is still going. Usagi asks why Mako doesn't wear the school uniform that they wear because she has a different sort of thing. And Mako says that there's no size that fits her. It's like, whoa. We all know people like this, Oh, do you sell any bigger jock straps than this? Oh, I have to get my bras specially made. Yeah, we get it.
God.
You're a ringer. You matured faster than everybody else. Speaking of jock straps, did I ever tell you the story about when I bought a dance belt?
I don't think you have.
Okay, we'll save it for after the thing.
Okay.
Remember dance belt story.
Okay.
Just imagine that dance belt. We start at my toes, panning up. Nice. Oh, good quadriceps. Dance belt.
Oh my gosh.
Too small.
Wow.
Usagi asks at the arcade if Motoki Onisan, she says, in the audio and in our sub too.
Yeah.
And she asks if he's working today, and Mako's like, "Oh, I see. Motoki and you." And Usagi's like, "Well, yeah, okay." And Mako says, "Oh, yeah, he's your brother."
Uh-huh.
Doi!
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't know this, but Onisan could be brother, or it could also be like a young man who you know or is a friend of yours.
Yes.
Which is weird.
It is weird.
Oh, no, maybe not. There's like, "Hey, what's up, my brother?" Something like that. Maybe not like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I take it back. And Usagi does that thing which we got to go on TV tropes. It has to have a name, but it's that thing where they fall backwards. A person's like, "Oh,"
yes.
They fall backwards and their legs go up. Like, "Oh no, I can't believe that."
Oh my gosh!
But she goes hard. Like this is like a 360 face plant. Like she goes down, and there's like they do the thing with a sweat drop and a balloon above her head. In case we didn't get it. And then her legs are curled over backwards, like almost touching the top of her head, like,
because she just can't believe it.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
She forgets who he is sometimes.
I
don't know why it's such a big deal. But anyway. Ray, Ray and Ami show up at the arcade, and the reason is apparently that Luna's like, "You guys got to check out this new girl. We got to get on top of this." Somebody new shows up. It's either a monster or a sailor. So.
Right.
And Usagi's like, "Oh, no, it's cool. Let me introduce everybody. This is the smart Ami and the nasty Ray." And Ray's like, "Who's nasty?" And they start bickering, and Mako's like, "I can see you're good friends. The more you fight, the closer you are," which drives Usagi crazy, of course.
Yeah.
And Ami's like, "Oh, that's a good one.
Uh-huh.
Is it happening again?
Is what happening again?
Sailor creep? We've talked about this.
Oh, well, I think it's
not
Sailor
creep is a character design I'm working on, but no, but that would be Umino. But no, just like every time there's a new sailor, it's like, well, Sailor Moon is like plucky and, pretty, and there you go. And then, Sailor Mercury. She's plucky, pretty, and super smart.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sailor Ray. She's plucky, pretty smart, and she's got, like, psychic powers and can ghost bust.
Right.
And then we're going to add a new sailor, and she's going to have all those things and even more.
Yeah.
And also, the school uniform doesn't fit her. Okay. And she can't come to fight the monster because she's got a modeling gig this week.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Just like stuff like that. And she's got like her boyfriend, so hot, Canadian, so hot.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't know. Mako sees Luna and is like, oh, it's so cute, a cat. And she starts petting her, and Luna is on board. All worries forgotten.
Yep.
Luna is a little bit of a petting slut.
Yeah, she is.
A commotion is happening across the arcade where someone is cleaning out the skill crane machine. He's winning stuffed animals, Sailor V dolls, Sailor Mercury dolls. What?
Yeah, I know, right?
These girls got to get on top of their licensing.
Yeah.
And he's the guy from the Black Crystal Vision. The hat dude. Mm-hmm. And also we see that when he picks something up, he doesn't quite get it, but then he sort of like he uses the force a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like moving these things around. It's weird. Usagi's friend Yumi is there. I don't remember. We haven't seen her in a while, right?
I don't think she was even named before.
Yeah, I think she was in the episode where
they were
losing weight or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, she says that's Cranemaster Joe.
Yeah.
He's cleaned out all the arcades in the Southwest. And Usagi asks Mako, oh, wow, it's pretty cool, right? But Mako is having a moment. She's having this, like, her eyes are full of love. And she says, senpai, which I've learned is either teacher or could mean an older student.
I think it's mostly an older student, but yeah.
Senpai?
Yeah.
Senpai is teacher.
Sensei is teacher.
That's also, yeah, sure, that's also a teacher, but, right?
I'd always learned that
only
it was
we had an internet to look it up with.
I can look it up right now.
Yeah, I'll look it up because I look up things right.
Jeez.
Do you know that Ben Franklin owned a printing press? He was one of the few people in the country that owned a printing press at the time because it was the mid 1700s. Whenever he have an argument with somebody, he'd go home and he would print a page from the Bible because all these, it was like the U2 album. I'm sure like all the printing presses came with like a recipe for printing the Bible because that's what it was originally for.
Sure.
And he would insert something into the Bible page
from their argument
that proved his argument. And later on he'd be like, oh yeah, hey, I was reading the Bible. Let's check that. And they'd be like, well, I guess Ben's right.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, Usagi's trying to get her attention because clearly she is having a reverie here about this boy. We cut to outside. Cranemaster Joe is walking along the street and Zoisite appears to him directly in front of him and he zoys the black crystal out.
Yep.
Zoy! Which releases black crystal rays that make the rainbow crystal emerge from his chest. Like it opens up like this hole in his chest and he's like, and the crystal starts coming out.
Yeah.
But hold on. Here comes Makoto. Okay, look, baby, I know that you're good at karate, but this is like a demonic being from another dimension. Nope, there she goes.
She doesn't know. She doesn't care.
She's throwing kicks and punches at him, and he's floating out of the way, and it's like that. You're pretty good. You made me use 1/1,000,000th of my energy or
right.
whatever.
Yes.
Then she takes off one of her earrings and she throws it at him. And when he dodges, she gives him like a karate chop across the face. I had this friend in high school that used to we would always throw paper balls at each other, but he would ball up a piece of paper theatrically and then he'd put it in his right hand and then he'd sort of twist back, but it was in his left hand. And so while he was winding back, he would throw it with his left hand. But you're still watching the right hand, and it hit you in the face as he was making the hand motion.
Oh my goodness!
It was like a weird off-speed pitch. Yeah. But anyway, she hurt his face, his beautiful face.
Yes.
And he's mad. And Usagi and Luna arrive on the scene, and they check if Hat Guy is okay. But Hat Guy's like, "Back off!" and he runs away. Cranemaster Joe don't want no help from nobody.
That's
and
right.
Luna senses that there's a dark aura around. Thanks, Luna.
Yeah, I know. You think that they would recognize the Dark Kingdom uniform by now?
They
don't.
They need an EKG detector, an EGON thing.
Yeah, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
Senpai is an upperclassman who mentors an underclassman, or kohai. Senpai kohai dialectic, we've heard that. Used more broadly to mean teacher or master. Thank you, Ben Franklin.
All right.
Mako follows Cranemaster Joe down the street. Oh, sorry, that was First Kings. No, that was 2 Corinthians.
Right.
2 Corinthians. We all know that song.
Wow.
Sorry.
You're fine.
Mako is following Cranemaster Joe, and he's like, "Why are you following me?" And she's like, "Somebody's after you." Guess what? I'm your bodyguard. You won too many arcade prizes. The Arcade Association has put out a hit on you.
Yeah.
Blam! No more losing prizes to Cranemaster Joe. She asks him to tell him what his trick is because she saw this this thing, I guess. And suddenly he has these chest pains, and he tells her he wants to get a coffee alone. Stimulant, great for chest pains.
Right.
He goes into a cafe called Tour de Course, which... impressed. I know like a lot of Japanese things have like random English words or things that like they think are clever but only are accidentally clever sometimes, but Tour de Course would be a good name for a French restaurant.
Yeah, I could see that.
With like a biking theme, and if you eat the whole cream puff, you get a yellow jersey or something.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
wow.
Maybe not. Usagi arrives at the restaurant and calls him a jerk. Mako says that's the best part because he looks just like a senpai that I was in love with who spurned me.
Yeah, I know.
Which, in your interpretation, okay, like upperclassman, I can see it.
Yeah.
In my interpretation, why were you kicked out of your old school again?
Jeez.
What happened exactly? Inside Tour de Course, the chest pains continue, but Usagi and Mako are still outside. And he sees them through the glass. He waves Mako inside, and Usagi's like, "This is your chance. You got to go in. Mm-hmm. You got to make it happen. Love is real,
right?
Even with jerks." Joe tells Mako to sit down, and it's not because he was interested. He got tired of like, if you're going to follow me, just why don't you sit down? I'm just watching you outside the window.
Right.
Just come inside.
Right.
And he tells her, "Look, I've always had this psychic power since I was a child." While he's telling her about this, he moves an ashtray with his mind, and she's like, "I don't know, it's kind of cheating."
Right.
It's like, that's true. He's freaking psychic.
I know.
So psychic confirmed. I mean, I guess we know that there's spirits and
of Ray.
stuff, and we know that there's like, I can sense things, but like, telekinesis is real in this world.
Yes,
that's a new thing. The waiter asks them if they want anything, and Mako says, "I'll have a large curry with rice." "Oh no, wait, I'll just have some tea and milk."
Yeah.
And is that like a girl demurring thing?
I think so. Yes.
Because all these rough and tumble girls, like anime heroes of any sex, I guess, have to eat a lot of food, but also they're always like watching their figures.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of that too. Absolutely.
I don't love it. You get that rice. But it turns out that's not their waiter. It's Zoisite.
I know.
And that's a great bit. I like the fact that he's doing bits.
He's got flair. Like he's definitely got style. I love how he has like flower petals appear when he disappears, and he just like floats in the air with his legs crossed. I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
you're just always sitting down.
Yeah, right.
That's the heart, though. Sitting is the new smoking. Well, his panache doesn't extend to any kind of parting line. Like this is true. This is the last course or something. But
that would have been
nice. He blasts Mako out of her seat across the room, and Joe is trying to crawl out of the shop, and Usagi is just standing there being like, "What, are you not going to help the girl?"
Yes.
And he's like, "I don't even know her."
Yeah.
And he runs out, and Zoisite blows out the shop window and leaps through it, and Luna's like, "Yeah, this is Dark Kingdom." Thanks, Luna.
It's like, geez, thanks. Where have you been?
It turns out Mako's okay, but she's just mad now because history is repeating herself. She just keeps going after these boys, and they don't like her. Zoisite has cornered Joe in the park, and again he tries to retrieve the crystal. A hole opens up in Cranemaster Joe. Gem comes out, and it's a reddish-pink crystal. Mm-hmm. There's too many crystals. But here comes Sailor Moon. We don't actually see her transform, I think, for the first time in this episode. She yells, "Stop right there! Who are you?" He says, "I'm Zoisite, one of the 4 lords of the Dark Kingdom, and this is the youma, Gaisen."
Yeah.
And Joe transforms into Gaisen. He's like evil Ultraman, he looks like. He makes carnival noises. He shoots a giant mallet out of his arm and a crane. He's got a joystick on his shoulder. Your argument is invalid.
Yes.
And it looks bad for Sailor Moon. They start to tussle a little bit. He shoots lasers at her. And suddenly, what the hell? Mako is there. She picks him up over her head. And she's like, "Knock it off. I'm a big Sailor Moon fan. Back off." And when she does this, what looks like a glowing kanji appears on her forehead. But it's like the alchemical symbol for Jupiter.
Yes.
Which... I mean, at this point, we can't be surprised by anything. I suppose we know what's going to happen. But yeah, it's a Jupiter symbol on her forehead. She throws him back into the bushes.
Yep.
She's just manhandling this youma who needs a sailor power.
Yeah, I know,
but he's back up, and he shoots a crane claw There we go. Out of his arm, he grasps Sailor Moon. This is bad. And Luna says, Mako, take this pen and say, Jupiter power, make up. And Mako's like, Luna can talk?
Uh-huh.
We always know, I think, who the sailors are or the people we can trust is because the cat talking doesn't bother them so much as the circumstances.
Right.
Whenever Luna talks in front of a regular person, they're like,
like Princess Diamond. She totally freaked out.
Yeah, who knows what she thought was happening or who she told. But she does it. Jupiter does it. If a cat told me to do something, I'd probably do it, honestly.
Probably.
She transforms into Sailor Jupiter.
Yes.
We got a big thing out of her. Electricity seems to be her thing. Mm-hmm. She's got lace-up boots.
Yes,
that's my favorite part. They're the same, like, slip-on, knee-high kind of girly boots that everybody else has, but they lace up for some reason. It's like she's more active, or it just
like
it just
sportier.
Seems more it's sportier.
Yeah.
And I guess they had a Sailor uniform in her size, so good news.
Oh jeez.
Gaysen tries to grab her with a crane, but she jumps out of the way and summons lightning. A little lightning rod comes out of her tiara, and she's covered in electrical energy, and she delivers her attack, Supreme Thunder.
Yes.
But when you say that with a Japanese accent,
Supreme Thunder,
it sounds like Supreme Shundai. And Sailor Moon is freed from the claw, and she thinks Jupiter said, Shoe cream sundae?
I know.
It's on brand.
I know.
It's on brand.
Yep. Something delicious.
She knocked Gaysen for a loop, but he still exists, like, in this reality. So Jupiter's like, second verse, same as the first. We can do it again. But Luna says, whoa, the Yuma that you're fighting has a human heart still. Mm-hmm. So we got to be careful. We got to kid glove this because we can't kill the person inside.
Right.
You have to heal the Yuma. So take this. And she gives him a new item called the Moon Stick.
Yes.
And it looks pretty much like its name.
Yep.
And you have to take this and say Moon Healing Escalation, which Sailor Moon does. It's a brand new sort of thing. It's not Moon Tiara action.
Yes.
It's Moon Healing Escalation.
Exactly.
With a new dance and everything. And they hit Gaysen with that, and he says, like, refresh!
I know. It's it's so bizarre.
We're going to get a lot of mileage out of this, I think.
I
know. Gaysen reverts back to old Cranemaster Joe, and Luna says, well, now we have 4 soldiers, and you must lead them, Sailor Moon, because you have the stick.
Yes.
We have an epilogue at Game Center Crown. Mako is playing the Sailor V game. She's not playing Knockout Cobra. That's a little disappointing. I still want to see that one. And she's cursing men. She's just, these men. Motoki comes in and he says, whoa, I can't believe I missed out. Cranemaster Joe was here?
Yes.
You lummox. Yes. And Usagi's like, hey, you should meet my new friend, Mako. And Mako says, he looks exactly like a senpai that I loved and I was spurned by.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I know.
She said, it's his voice.
Yes.
It's his voice.
Yeah, exactly.
So Mako's boy crazy, I guess.
A little bit.
And anyway, it's somebody to offload Motoki onto. The end. Oh, and I should say, just like we have like...
Yes.
Oh, this time we're going to fight this. We got the outros now too. So it's like next time on something.
Yes.
And we see... What is it? Oh, we're gonna deal with Naru.
Yes.
Because we just left that after her boyfriend died.
Yeah, I know.
But during it, Usagi's like, we're gonna take her out for a meal. We're gonna get French, ethnic, Chinese. What's ethnic food?
I don't know.
What's ethnic food?
I don't
Precious.
know. I don't know what they were trying to get at. The only thing I can even possibly think of is that, there's Japanese food and then there's very traditional Japanese food, which you would get at a traditional inn, a ryokan.
Well, we've established the French thing because there's, we're going to talk about shoe cream puffs in a little bit.
Yeah.
There's pastry, there's confectionery. Japanese love that, and Usagi loves that. Yes. Chinese, I think, is just already there because it makes up a large part of their cuisine.
Yes.
But what's ethnic?
Is
it like hamburgers?
No idea.
Do they mean like American? Because I'd never thought of American as ethnic, but I'm an American.
I would think that, I don't know.
I'm an American.
I'd be surprised by that. But you know what they call...
Or is it Italian food?
Oh, maybe Italian. They do have Italian food. It's...
Really? I just assumed a Japanese person sitting down to a big plate of spaghetti and meatballs?
Well, they do, but it's like kind of like Japaneseified, like it's just, it's not... what as we as Americans think of as like Italian. Like it's like pasta, but it's like pasta with like made from squid ink or like a squid ink sauce or something like that.
Okay, all right.
I mean, they have some like pasta you can get with like marinara sauce, but it's not necessarily spiced to the same level that we think.
They're
Well, and
I'm convinced that the Japanese have totally different taste buds, and if that's racist,
maybe
I apologize.
I mean, well, and their take on pizza is so different too. Like what they put on it, like they put mayonnaise, they put corn,
right? And
like,
we have things
just...
like I know that like Taco Bell is nothing like traditional Mexican food,
right?
Watch the Taco Chronicles. I am the taco on Netflix to get more information about that, But still, there are like restaurants here that are like, all right, forget Taco Bell. This is, we're trying to make some authentic stuff and some good stuff. And also, you can just like Taco Bell if you want. They take pizza and they're like, okay, crust, topping, we got it. And then it's like, here's your corn and mayonnaise and squid ink pizza with egg on it.
Yeah.
Do they even understand that that's not what it's supposed to be? They're supposed to be like olive oil and marinara sauce.
Yeah, well, I did used to get, like, when I lived there, I used to get, like, this little, like, tiny personal frozen pizza that was just, like, a margarita pizza. Like, it was just...
Like out of the freezer's case.
Yeah, it was just, like, marinara sauce, basil, there? And, no. And, like, cheese. And that was it. Right. So, I mean, nothing weird there. Just...
No, I mean, it's weird.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Do you want to tell us your dance belt story before we go on?
We've taken so much time up already. I mean, doesn't an ad go here?
Sure.
Shoe Cream Sunday!
Your Honor, a courtroom is a crucible. In it we burn away irrelevancies until we are left with a pure product, the truth, for all time.
Oh man, this is so intense. Data's on trial for his life.
I know. This episode, The Measure of a Man, is based on the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision of 1857.
And every week on Backtracking, we take a look at the real-world events that inspired classic Star Trek episodes. Sorry.
Shut up! Shh.
Who are you?
We're the hosts of Backtracking. I'm Caliban.
You will both be taken to the brig and from there to the nearest starbase, where you will answer charges for what you have done.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
This is not a game. This is life and death.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Backtracking is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
You go f*** yourself.
It's not a good story. I was in a play where I was on stage in just boxers.
Sure.
And I didn't take the boxers off.
Sure.
But in this play, I was also, there was a lot of, it's hard to explain, but there's a lot of activity and moving around, and we didn't want any wardrobe malfunctions.
Sure, of course.
And so I had to get a dance belt. And I'd done some movement and dance before, but I'd never needed a dance belt. And I went to the ballet store that was near where I lived that I'd driven by a million times. And I thought, oh, they'll have it at a ballet store. You go in, and of course, like everything is, there's the insignia is a lady with a bun and a tutu.
Sure.
And everything is pink, and there's a bunch of, 9-year-old girls in there who are getting ready to get their stuff for class.
Sure.
And I'm like, you got any dance belts? And they're like, yeah, probably. And they go and get dance belt on the back, and they bring it back to me, and then I go try it on, and everything worked out fine. And I was like, as I was trying it on, I'm like, do I do the bit? Do I do the bit?
Did you do the bit?
So just you gotta let it. This is how you let it bake a little bit.
Oh,
right?
Okay, all right, my bad.
Like your pizza. And I thought, oh, maybe no, I won't do it. And I came back and I was handing it to the person, and they're like, "Everything work out okay? Like, how's it fit?" I was like, "It's a little snug. It's a little snug."
So you were doing a Mako
So
Chan.
I did the bit anyway.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
That's why I can identify with Mako Chan, and I think that it's kind of cheesy that she says that.
A little bit.
I'm sorry that there's something wrong with your pituitary gland.
Whoa.
Look, I love that we're getting now to, because people are really smart, and that's fine. But you don't necessarily think of it as a superpower unless their forehead is 3 feet tall. But that's kind of where we're at with Ami. And then Rei literally has psychic abilities.
She does.
And now we've got a character who can like lift a car, before she even gets a transformation pen.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
know.
it's like X-Men, but it's also like a girls' anime about crystal princesses or something like that.
Yes, you're right.
But we have a Hulk now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we do.
That's my secret, Cap. I never fit into the uniform.
And one of her colors is green, so there you go.
Yeah, right. They're doing a thing.
You think so?
Well, they must be.
Okay. Well,
I bet Naoko Takeuchi loves comic books.
oh, for sure.
She has to.
I would not be surprised in the least.
And as going forward, I'm guessing that since there are, I don't know how long this is going to last, we can do side trips to the beach or whatever, but if there are 7 crystals and we've already got 1, they're just going to kind of lose 6 more times? I guess it's not losing to refresh a human being, but doesn't that seem what's going to happen?
Well, but they I think, I don't know if Luna makes an emphasis on this time, but they have to be conscientious and not let the Dark Kingdom get all of the crystals, because then they could seemingly get the silver crystal.
Right, but the story's got to move forward. There's 200 episodes of this.
I know.
And so if the Dark Ruler is going to awaken, we're just going to have to watch the scouts after going, let's see, 24 for 24. Mm-hmm. I don't know, there was that week that we had an incomplete. where Usagi fought the constellation Leo, but then it just sort of just fell apart.
Disappeared.
We kind of
somewhere.
forgot about that.
Yeah, I know. And they got trapped in
all
an
right, so they
elevator.
went 23 and 0 and 1.
Yes.
But now we're gonna just I don't know. I don't want to see them lose.
I understand. That's not why we don't want to see our heroes lose. Of course not. So for Kyoto Miru, curiously looking around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about something that was your suggestion you threw out there, because we don't really know a lot about Makoto's living situation right now. But I will go into that a little bit more later, but I thought we could talk.
I know her name is a boy name.
Well, it can be a boy or a girl name.
It's like Akira?
Yeah.
Or Akira?
Yeah. Makoto can be a boy or a girl name, and I think they chose that for her because she is kind of a tomboy, but she's the thing that's interesting about Makoto.
I thought it meant truth or sincerity.
It does. But the thing about Makoto is that she has a lot of masculine and feminine aspects to her.
Careful.
I think.
You're going to get rewritten.
Oh, no, I don't want that.
You and your cousins.
Okay, all right.
Let's stop. Collaborate.
Okay.
Glisten. He swore by that, glisten. At some point, we don't have to wait to talk about how inclusive Sailor Moon is, right?
No, of course not.
Why is it so inclusive?
Why is it so inclusive?
I feel like over on One Punch or One Piece or there's always one of something. It's I love food and I don't like girls because I'm a real dude, and then I accidentally kiss a boy and I'm like blah, right, like that's just anime.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it comes down to Naoko Takeuchi, frankly. I think it's her creativity, her story, and I think she was thinking...
And she's like...
Let's get...
It's like 1989 when I came up with all this stuff, and LGBTQ+. Let's do this.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm more astonished than you are.
Oh, okay. That we're being so inclusive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's kind of just what she wanted the show to be,
Well, it's too bad that other powers that be didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, well, Makoto means serenity or trust. Kino means either tree field or wood field.
It's that game you play with the numbers.
Yeah.
A wood field?
Yeah, so it could also mean of the tree.
Field.
And I think maybe they're kind of like...
She's tall?
She's very tall, yeah.
Is there a thing about lightning hitting trees?
I think maybe that might be where they're going. Like, her name is a pun on the phrase, quote, faithfulness of wood, end quote. So...
You have to run over that again for me.
I think it's brave that Usagi calls her Mako-chan like right away. That's like she's being very familiar with this girl and she barely knows her.
That she had a ton of food.
Yeah, I know.
There's a thing. There's like a tradition. Don't treat me any differently. Don't be impressed. I learned about this from a video game, but there's a tradition of saying Kurabawa Kurabawa when you walk across a field in a storm, because that's like, I think, the word for mulberry tree, and there was like a myth that like mulberry trees are never hit by lightning.
Oh, interesting.
So
I
if
never
you're
heard
like,
that
I don't want to
before.
get hit by lightning, yeah, you say Kurabawa.
Okay, very interesting.
We pack it in.
I know. I love that the antenna comes out of her tiara.
Yes, that's so great. It doesn't mean it's useless.
I know.
I mean,
right?
these are all magic powers, right? But
Yeah,
still, you gotta get a lightning rod coming out of here.
Yeah.
I could pick up K-Rock on this thing.
So in Japan, brown hair indicates rebelliousness, which contributes to Makoto's tough girl image. And also...
oh no, is she the Tori of this thing?
No.
Not one eye, not two.
No, don't say that. She's not the Tori. She's way better than Tori. But also kind of like...
She gets a leather jacket.
Stop it. Curly hair, and I guess the idea of like having a perm, but her hair is natural. I know that from the manga. So
guess who's Mika's favorite sailor is?
So yeah, but I just she's my favorite.
Oh, I forgot to add that one too.
What?
Oh no, my hair just does this.
I also love her earrings. Like, I actually have some pink rose earrings, and it's because of Jupiter. So
You ever throw them at anybody?
Huh? No, I've never thrown them at anybody. So yeah, I know. But going back to our subject about Japanese culture, this is something that you kind of asked me about, so I thought we would talk about it, even though
the world has moved on.
Yeah, we're going to talk about homelessness in Japan.
I'm glad I was being so flippant before.
So it seems to mostly affect middle-aged or older men.
Is Cranemaster Joe homeless?
I don't think so. You said because you thought, where does Makoto live?
Oh.
But
she's got a high-rise uptown. She's taken care of.
She's
her
not
parents
quite like Mamoru. We know Mamoru lives on his own and he's rich, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it's only because.
Go ahead.
It's only because how would we explain he's eating dinner with his family and then he disappears and it becomes Tuxedo Mask?
I guess. Yeah, but so I thought we would talk about this.
Sure.
In a survey that was conducted in 2003, the estimated total of homeless people in Japan was 25,296 people. And in Japan, being homelessness carries a very heavy disgrace, and where society historically places a heavy significance on self-sufficiency. It's kind of frowned upon. Lots of homeless people feel embarrassed about their circumstances and try to hide their status from society and their families. Homeless people try to adapt to look as if they look like everyone else and frequently spend the night in internet cafes or saunas when they have some money. It's thought to have culminated in the 1990s as a result of the subsidence of the Japanese asset price bubble, where a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah, that was like the finale of the economic miracle. For
them. And a lot of those jobs happen to be construction, like kind of day laborer type things. And the Japanese government, in an effort to beautify the environment, tried to discard the homeless population, which is not a cool move.
Yeah.
But by 1997, the government officially recognized the homeless in Japan and started to work with them to get them assistance. In Western Japan, principally in Osaka, there are several religious groups and volunteer organizations who assist the homeless. Most of these groups are Christian and give support and provide urgent rice feeding to homeless community. Similar support is also available in Yokohama. And a lot of homeless people in Japan collect empty aluminum cans for money. A bag of crushed cans that weighs 5 kilograms will get you around 500 yen, which is about $5. According to one homeless man in Tokyo, homeless people have their designated areas where they collect cans and they will fight over that territory. When he lived in Osaka, he collected cans and electric cables, like for washing machines. On a good day, he would get 10 kilograms, which at that time was approximately $8.80 US. So it is actually technically banned for people to ask for money on the street in Japan.
Yeah.
Because of this, you will rarely see this in Japan. And an interviewed homeless man said that he didn't ask for money on the street because he was afraid he would get arrested.
What is you don't know, but maybe that's desirable
to get arrested.
Well,
I mean you'd have a roof over your head and you'd have food.
Yeah, but
I think a lot of people try to avoid it.
Well, sure, of course, but
yeah,
nobody wants to lose their freedom. But...
No, exactly. Some hopeless people in Japan can find day-to-day employment as laborers. Most jobs that are available to homeless people are labor-intensive, and not everybody is physically able to do that.
Yeah.
So there's a quote from a deputy director of Sanyu Kai. It's just a nonprofit that helps homeless people from the Japan Times. Quote, "The rule is that you can only go on welfare if your family can't look after you and you don't have any other means of support. So first they have to check that your family can't support you. A lot of people don't want their family to find out, or they don't want to cause any trouble for their family," end quote. So there's like this added level of shame that goes along with that, and they don't want to be dependent on their family.
Well, I gotta tell you, you've introduced nothing new or unique that I can think of. All of these measures and the attitudes toward it all exist, here as well.
I do think that,
here is America.
Well, but we see a lot of more people here asking for money on the street.
Yeah, but there are a lot in our very city. It rhymes with city. Former mayor wanted to pass a law that would forbid that, because it's going to help them. It's going to keep them, off the street. It's going to be.
Yeah, which I don't think that that's actually true, at all.
No, not at all. Well, that's interesting. Maybe in the future, you can look into the state of charitable giving and stuff in Japan.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about that in the future. Moving on to Itadakimasu with Usagi. Usagi singing at lunchtime, my tummy is singing. It's pretty funny.
Was that singing that what you just did?
Kind of.
More like unholy chanting.
Yeah, all right. But, Usagi brought her own lunch, but then Makoto's lunch is beautiful and full of goodies. Usagi admires it. She thinks that the onigiri looks delicious, and Makoto's lunch is in 2 boxes.
Right.
One is a heart-shaped Snoopy box.
Nirvana.
And has a cute bag, too.
Was it Snoopy?
It was Snoopy and Woodstock, the little heart-shaped box.
Can they get away with that?
Well, it's kind of crudely drawn, so maybe they can kind of get
it's
away
like
with
Schmoopy and Blackstock.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, Makoto offers onigiri to Usagi, who demurs and says, "I never eat that much." Okay, right, Usagi.
Yeah.
So there is a great website that I just want to throw out there that has a lot of stuff that covers stuff about Sailor Moon. It's called Tuxedo Unmasked. It's a really great reference.
Oh, man.
I know. But
now we can't change our podcast name to that.
So I checked on there what Makoto had in her bento, and so I want to give them props because they went through and named everything that she had in her bento box.
All right, don't go crazy.
Normal sized takikomi gohan, which are the rice balls.
Yeah.
Croquettes, cherry tomatoes, little chicken boiled quail eggs.
What?
Yeah. Cheese hamburger patty, glazed carrots, parsley, meatball. We see her eating one, and a ketchup packet. So there's a lot going on in that lunch.
Who could have eaten all this?
I know. She brought credit spread, so I don't know if we're supposed to infer that she intended to share with other people, or that she has an appetite like Usagi and likes to eat
I'll usually
a lot.
give the rest to the servants.
Yes, right.
Or I'll swing by the homeless shelter later.
Yeah.
I like to do something nice for them.
And then, of course, Usagi finds out that Makoto made her own lunch, and she's super impressed, and then she wants her to make her lunch. And then at the cafe, Cranemaster Joe says he wants to have some coffee on his own. And then Zoisite comes by, and Makoto thinks she's the server, and she starts to order a large curry rice, and then changes her mind to have tea with milk in it. And then, of course, the shoe cream sundae that Usagi thinks is what Jupiter says. And, of course, shoe cream is the name of Japanese cream puffs. The French name is choux à la crème, and it's made from choux pastry. So in Japanese, it's just SHU. In the original French, it's CHOUX.
Oh, sure.
So they kind of like Japaneseified it a little bit. So
is there X's in?
No. There are no X's in Japanese. So
it's weird that we have X.
It is kind of weird.
I got a podcast you should listen to. It's called The History of X. X gonna listen to you. Whatever.
You go. My Heart is a Kaleidoscope, where we talk about fashion in Sailor Moon. Makoto's uniform, which she's wearing, it's her old school uniform. It's light brown and white, brown long skirt, light brown sailor collar, and light brown lace up in front.
Yeah, the calf length skirt kind of threw me off.
So that supposedly is also supposed to mark like a tough girl.
Really?
Yeah. So
that's the leather jacket.
Yeah, there
she's
you go.
already got it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So I think what you were inferring about her, like saying, this is the only thing that fits me, is probably right on, but she's also really tall. So supposedly the uniforms don't fit because of that, but. Yeah, I know. But I think that they also just wanted differentiation among the scouts, because she's going to school with Usagi and Ami. So.
I guess it's that girl who, she's got a lot of nice things, and she's tall and she's pretty, but you can't hate her because she's so nice or whatever. And
right.
She also can lift a car.
She can bench press you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usagi runs into a thug on her way to school. The guy she ran into is wearing a purple button-up shirt and brown slacks. Another guy is wearing a white wife beater and green slacks, and a third guy is wearing a yellow button-up shirt, jeans, and sunglasses. So I wanted to mention really quick, it's not super popular to wear sunglasses in Japan. People do not grow up wearing them, and one asked why this is, it has been suggested that foreigners have bad eyesight. I also heard that the sunglasses are associated with the Yakuza and bad boys and criminals and not regular people.
Yeah.
This idea might have been strengthened by actors portraying fictitious characters that were up to no good. That's probably the same idea here with this guy. But I also want to mention, we see Mamoru wearing sunglasses a lot. And when we first meet him, he's wearing sunglasses. And maybe we're supposed to get he's kind of a bad boy because he's wearing sunglasses.
Oh, yeah, I think for sure. But these guys walked out of a Masaki Yuasa anime.
Oh, for sure.
That was shooting down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we have Cranemaster Joe, who's wearing a backwards blue baseball hat with a turquoise brim, jeans, white t-shirt, sneakers, yellow hoodie, and glasses, but they're not Umino glasses.
No.
So you can actually see his eyes. I guess maybe he's supposed to be cooler then. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we are up to Villain Gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. So Cranemaster Joe is a human with a rainbow crystal inside of him. He wins Sailor V.
The legendary youma.
Yes. He wins Sailor V and Sailor Mercury dolls from the Crane game, which, I'm not sure how we have Sailor Mercury.
Well, maybe it's, subconsciously showing us that the sailors are, getting more popular. People know them.
Yes, exactly. And he, of course, has the red rainbow crystal, and Zoisite gets that.
Yeah.
He's the first of the 7 legendary youma named Geisen, which is a reference to a Japanese term for game center. Geimu Senta is the Japanese term,
Sure.
which is often shortened to Geisen. So there you go. That's his name.
I love my Geisen.
Yes.
I wonder about the guys, the Yoma, like they're reincarnated.
Yes.
I guess we know what that means in a general sense, but
Right.
then they're humans. Are they humans with like the souls of evil Yoma?
I think they've got that tucked away. Like when you take the crystal out of them, they become the Yoma, I think is what we're supposed to get.
Yeah. And so the escalation is sort of maybe is refreshing. It's purifying their souls.
I think that is a good way
Do they
to
still have
interpret that.
superpowers then? Like once are they like...
I don't think so. I this is what I think. I think his psychic powers are now gone.
Oh,
is what I think.
Great. That's the epilogue. He goes
Right?
into like a watch this.
He can't do it.
This game center diadem. I'm gonna take them out apart, and then what? No.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I'm gonna borrow a quarter.
Yeah. And he's like an arcade game. He makes arcade video game noises, and he says his own name a lot.
Yeah.
Which is reminds me of like Pokemon, but this was before that.
Yeah, why doesn't he say like asteroids or I don't know something?
I don't know.
Game over.
That would have been good.
Double score.
Exactly.
Tilt. Go on.
Yeah, and his gold mallet with spikes on it. He tries to hit Sailor Moon with it, and the cable encircles Sailor Moon. And I love that Makoto says she's a big fan of Sailor Moon. So obviously Sailor Moon is well known. People know her. And then she picks up Geisen and throws him. And he is the first monster of the day, or MOTD, as I've seen it referred to online.
Oh, okay.
To say his name over and over.
Yeah.
This became common with other monsters.
Oh, okay.
In the English dub, however, he didn't repeat his name and he was able to talk. He is also the first MOTD that was male and the first that was human. Also, the first that said a phrase when he was obliterated.
I never really thought of that.
Yeah.
Him being male, yeah.
Because all of the Yoma we've seen so far have been female.
It's girl fight.
Yeah, exactly. And I hadn't realized that.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I know.
Is there an association, do you think, between... Because we see girls playing video games from like episode 1 in this show.
Do. Yes.
But I think that, the sort of stereotype of the otaku who is playing video games or pachinko or whatever is a dude
is a guy. Yes,
it seems perfect that it would be a dude in a baseball cap who's like Geisen, but
yes,
but that's kind of the stereotype that this show I think is bucked, that we already mentioned.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would agree with you.
Maybe it'll be reflected in the rating.
Yes.
We'll see.
A couple other firsts for this episode. We get the moonstick. My opinion, I feel like they could have come up with a better, more creative name for it.
They didn't spend a lot of time on that. And I guess I didn't think to listen to the dialogue.
Oh, sure.
But do they just say like moonstick in English in Japanese?
I'll have to pay closer attention.
Maybe it has a little more.
Episodes.
It sounds better to them, but
yeah.
to us, it's like
it just sounds like okay.
That's the first draft.
I feel like moon wand sounds better.
Yeah, that's just a scepter.
Yeah, and actually, I think in the manga it is sometimes referred to as a moon wand, but for some reason the anime it didn't come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we say moon healing escalation, and Luna tells Usagi that she is the leader. And she tells Sailor Moon she has to find and protect the princess, and the moonstick is the symbol of the rightful leader.
Okay.
And then, of course, we see the ruler of the Dark Kingdom. Well, we hear them. I guess we don't actually see them.
Right.
We hear them speak for the first time.
Show of firsts.
Yes. So that was a lot of firsts that we had. Anything else that you'd like to say about Makoto in this episode?
I can't think of anything. I've complained before about the dilution of the character arcs with the addition of more sailors, or at least the flattening of characterization. And now I've got a character who is basically has the purity of Ami, but the irascibility at times of Rei. So,
Right.
I mean, everybody is a combination of a limited number of traits, I guess, but I'm sure they'll find a way to find things for everybody to do.
Yes, absolutely.
But right now it's like, okay. She's the tall one.
Yeah, she is. We have to rate our baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. I'm going to give Gaisen a 4.
Wow, 4?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's kind of a badass, and he he's the first of the Rainbow Crystal youma, so I'm gonna give him a 4.
I am not. I'm going to give him a 3.
Okay.
Simply because I need to adjust my scale because, the whole point is the monster doesn't come out until the end. And so, of course, we're not going to see the full extent of their power. I mean, some people have gone farther with that, have made a big impression in a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron would be a great example of that.
Yeah.
Or the Yoma that was on the cruise.
Oh, yeah.
With
I
the
know
cruise
who you're
ship was
talking
pretty
about,
good.
Yeah.
But, this guy had a lot of potential. He's got a real solid gimmick.
Yes.
But he gets picked up by a regular girl.
I know.
And thrown in the bushes.
Yeah, you're right.
You're not gonna break 3 with that.
Okay.
So I like his gimmick, but not much delivery. 3.
Okay. All right. And then we are up to where we rate the show 1 to 5 roses, 5 being the best. I am going to give this episode 4 roses.
Okay. Justification?
I love Jupiter, and we get to introduce her. And I think she's awesome. And we get the first of the Yoma, the legendary Yoma. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Legendary.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
I'm probably gonna go 3 again.
Okay.
I like the direction. It feels a little, I don't know. You can go back and find plenty of examples of me on previous episodes saying, "Where's this show going? Why? What's the point? Is it going to be this forever?" And then now we've got like a literal anime plot. We've got to get all the things before the other people do.
Yes.
And it feels formulaic to me. So clearly,
okay.
I'll never be happy. And but it's a solid, I think, plot going forward. But other than the introduction of Jupiter, I didn't feel like there was a lot blowing me away.
Okay, that's fair.
So, some good parts, some bad parts, but it all kind of comes together to be a 3.
Okay. My English title is Makoto Winning.
Makoto winning.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Fine. Makoto is winning.
Uh-huh.
Winning the heart of somebody, or
winning the game. I don't know.
She won the game.
Yeah.
Mine is a new challenger appears.
Very nice. I like it.
It's a video game reference.
Yeah, and it fits really well with this episode too. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 26. Naro-chan ni Egao wo Usagi no Yujo in Japanese, or Restore Naru's Smile, Usagi's Friendship, the English translation, and the English title, The Power of Friendship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Naru Blues.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it would actually work here.
It would. They do throw it in quite a bit, so I don't know if we can really begrudge them that.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Shoe Cream Sunday?